Just walked into Jorrell's spot here in Roseville. This is special, man. Jorrell, met him in the gym, coached him, amazing human, his family, everybody's good, solid people. And this is for him. This is where he started on his own. He was at a shop before, but this is his first spot on his own. He's about to branch off to have his first official shop, and about to get in here and get a cut and get familiar with his story and his future goals and what he's doing now, and make it a vlog style. So come on, check it out. My man, Jorrell.
How you doing?
Proud of you, man, good. Look at this, look at this, look at this shit.
Yeah, you know the vibes. Been in this thing winning rings for a while. Put it to the test, like a winner in a trial. Ain't no need to flex, cause I know you see the style. Yeah, I know you see the vibes. Yeah, I know you see the vibes.
You got his stuff here, got TV, got some treats, fridge.
Got it all.
And I'm about to get a cut. How you feeling, Jorrell?
I'm feeling good.
Good?
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling blessed.
I appreciate you coming in. I know you don't usually cut on Saturdays.
Come on, of course.
And you know what's crazy? I actually got a cut from Jorrell when he was in his house in the garage. Remember that?
I do remember that.
I think that was during COVID. Was it during COVID? I don't remember. I don't remember when it was. When was that?
I think it wasn't direct. I don't think it was during COVID. I think it was a little bit afterwards though, because I remember, was it Weddle who got a Kings on the side of his head?
Yeah. Yeah, so when was that? What year was that? That was a while ago, right?
That was a while ago.
21, 20. That's when you started cutting.
That's when I started cutting, yeah.
All right. So talk to me about you. Like, tell me about your upbringing first. Like, tell me about, where were you born? How were you raised? Your family? What was that like? Talk to me about that.
So I was born out here. I was actually born in Roseville, Placer County. I was born in Sutter. And growing up, I grew up with my grandma for the most part. And
how was that growing up with your grandma? How was it like? Did you see it in a different way, or do you understand now? Like, oh shit, I mainly live with my grandma.
Yeah, so the reason I lived with my grandma was because my parents were working out there in the Bay Area, and it was harder for them to get jobs out here and take care of me. So that's why I was out here with. It's actually my great grandma, and she was around 70 at the time.
Oh dang, that's crazy. And now, and I remember you went to school at Granite Bay, right?
Yeah, I went to school to Granite Bay.
Yeah, because I remember when you were going to school when you came to the gym, right? Were you still in school, or you graduated when you started at the gym?
I think it was the year after I graduated. So it was like a few months after I graduated.
Oh, okay. Because I remember you started at the gym, and I remember I think Grizzly was Granite Bay too. So I think that's how I remember connecting you two. So when this kid came to the gym and he started training, Jorrell, you were 18 or something like that, right?
I actually signed up when I was the day before I turned 18.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when you started training, when you started doing Warrior, you were at 4AM for a while, right?
Yeah, I was at 4AM for a while.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I remember it was you and Grizzly, and I remember you both went to Granite Bay. That's what I remember. What made you do boxing at the time when you were like that? At that time, what made you want to start boxing?
So the reason I wanted to start boxing was actually before that, I had a wrestling background. I wrestled for a few years, and I didn't want to go to college. So the only other option, I still wanted to continue fighting. I just didn't want to go to college, and that'd be the only reason that I continued to wrestle was to go to college.
Oh, okay.
So I chose boxing to kind of stay in the combat. Yeah. Basically.
Why didn't you want to go to college? Like, what made that decision for you?
So here's a little bit about more of it comes from like the backstory of my upbringing. I grew up like super poor, even though I lived in Granite Bay. And growing up like that, my main focus was always just to make more money, especially before 15. It's kind of like you don't have a choice because you can't really work nowhere.
Yeah.
But after 15, you're able to get jobs. And my main focus was to make as much money as I can without going into debt. And I've seen a lot of millionaires and billionaires, and they didn't even go to college, or some even dropped out of high school. So for me, my goal was money, and I didn't think school was the only way to get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. How did your family take not want to go to college? Did your family push college on you, or were they cool with it?
I mean, my grandparents, yeah, they're a little bit more traditional,
Yeah.
but given my parents didn't really go, I don't know if they fully completed college. They might have done like a semester or two,
Yeah.
but they never completed it, so I don't think they were really tripping as
They
much.
weren't really pushing it, but
Yeah.
your grandparents more.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so boxing was kind of a way for you to stay active, stay in the combat world without going to school. That's how it came about, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And how was it for you at the beginning with boxing and everything? What were your goals? Like, were you like looking to compete? Were you looking at just as a for fun? Like, what was it?
At first, I think I came in there with the mindset to just have fun
Yeah.
and maybe compete a little bit, and then as I continue to box, I just wanted to compete more.
Yeah. Hey, your love for the sport grew.
Yeah, my love for the sport grew.
Yeah. So as soon as you started, you're like, okay, I started liking it and you wanted to do it. What was how'd you find out about the gym? Like, how did that come about?
Okay, so it's a funny story. When I was actually looking for the gym, I was looking around the area. And so I checked out one gym before I checked out yours. Two gyms, actually.
Yeah.
One of them was actually Cayuga.
Yeah.
Because I lived in Citrus Heights, so I searched up boxing gyms near me.
Yeah.
I found Cayuga, and then I went to go see like what it was like. I went in there, and the coach who was training, he didn't say nothing to me. He was in the middle of like a training session. I walked in, it was just him and someone else. And I never even knew how boxing gyms work, so I didn't really know what to do. So I kind of stood there, waited a little bit until the round was over. I don't know, the vibes just weren't really that cool. And so when I kept looking, I went home, I looked more later that night, and then I found your page on Instagram, Jose Morales Boxing Academy. And I literally stalked it for like the whole night, like seeing what it's all about and seeing all your guys' reels, all your posts. And I really liked what you guys got going on. And so I went there, and I went to go take a tour, and it was with Kelly. And then at the end, she told me the price, and I was like, oh man, like, hold on, I got to think about it, because it was really expensive for me at the time.
Yeah.
And so after that, like a few days later, I went to Hawaii. And then as I was on the trip, I was just thinking like, man, should I join the gym? Should I join the gym? And when I came back, I just pulled the trigger, and I just joined the gym.
And when you joined and you trained, what was the biggest difference from your previous experience?
Well, the other gym I didn't even really work out at. It's just like
the vibes.
Yeah, the vibes was completely different. As soon as I got in there, I think that's when I met you, and then you're like, hey, like, what's up? And it was very like welcoming, everyone. It didn't feel like a lot of tension in there.
Yeah.
It definitely was like, new places are always a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when it comes to boxing.
Yeah, especially I was like only literally 17.
Yeah, and then your age and everything. So yeah,
exactly.
For sure, it's going to be like, what the hell, intimidating, nerve-wracking and shit like that. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
Bit.
And so then you start training. Your love grows for the sport. Tell me a little bit about like the training. You maybe share a memorable moment of your boxing, something that's very memorable to you. Like, oh man, I remember this, or something that stands out.
Oh, okay. So one of the first things I remember when boxing was actually we were doing jab drills, and I don't know if you remember Chris. He was a firefighter.
Yeah,
he was a pretty big guy.
Yeah,
big guy. We were doing jab drills with him, and he jabbed me. I've never been punched so hard that when he jabbed me, like everything almost went white a little bit. I almost thought I got knocked out. So that's one of the, like, I don't know why, but that's just like a super memorable moment.
You remember that?
Yeah. The other one was when Antonio was sparring B, and this is when I think this is when I just joined the Warrior training, like literally first day, maybe second day. Antonio was sparring B, and he
sparring
was
you?
B.
Oh, B. Okay, yeah.
And he was in the corner, and like he was just getting he's just getting rocked left and right, and his mouthpiece flew out. You had to stop it. I was like, damn, like this is intense. I was like, damn, this is nothing like wrestling. I was like, that's a grown ass man right there. He was beating up that kid right there.
That's hella funny. Hey, I'm gonna share one of them. I have a lot of memories with you that I like, by the way, like a lot that I remember that I will forever remember. But I'm gonna share one that I think says a lot about you and who you are as a person. We had this gym come to spar, and we had, it was like, I don't know, probably like 8 of us. It was a lot of us from our gym that were gonna spar.
Yeah.
And you were the very first one to spar.
Mm-hmm.
You remember this story? And I'm gonna keep going. And since you were the first one, everyone else had to wait until you were done to spar. And the guy that you sparred with had a freak accident, bro. His knee got dislocated. Yeah. You remember?
I do remember that.
And his knee literally popped out. It just looked gnarly, bro. It looked crazy as shit, huh? And the crazy part about this, though, is instantly what Jorrell did. Most people, you wouldn't expect this, but most people would probably, like, I don't know, sit there and watch while somebody else is helping. Well, while me and the other coach were attending this kid and helping him, Jorrell stops and like prays for him. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And I was like, just seeing him do that during that time, to me, it just really showed, his character, where his heart is. This is a guy he was just sparring with. He didn't know him. It's not like he was his freaking best friend and grew up with him. Complete stranger. He was just punching him in the face a couple seconds before this. And he prayed for him. What made you do that?
I mean, at the end of the day, just like, I see boxing as a sport. So at the end of the day, like, as much as a sport is to try to punch and injure someone else, I don't want them to be removed from the sport and like not be able to work and not be able to think. Like that's not the goal for me, at least.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Especially when training. I don't know. I didn't want something like that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember seeing that. And then the funny part, I mean, there's not really much funny about it, but it was funny to us because this fucking guy, after that happened, we had to go to the hospital with the kid. So no one else got to spar.
Yeah, dude, I felt bad for everyone else too.
Everyone was hella mad. They were like, damn, fucking Jorrell.
That was a freak accident.
Yeah, but that was one memory that I won't forget because, I mean, obviously it would have happened, but just of what you did. But then I have a whole bunch of other things that I really remember from you. Your knockouts. This guy was super fun to watch compete. I mean, he would like put people to sleep in the amateurs, which is cool because it's not very common in the amateurs. You got headgears and stuff like that, so it's not something you see all the time. Unless Jorrell was fighting, this guy was putting people to sleep. What competition do you remember or cherish the most out of your fights?
Oh, it's definitely got to be the very first competition.
Tell me. Let's play back that day. Tell us how it all went down.
All right, so that day, I remember the plan was we go weigh in. I was super nervous. It was so weird competing for the first time because what had happened is that you go in, you weigh in, and then you weigh in next to like 30 other boxers, and then like you try to size them up and like, am I gonna fight? Yeah, who am I fighting? And you're sitting next to the guy that you're gonna probably fight. And I was weighing in. I see like 3 other people that weigh in around the similar weight. I'm so nervous that day. After we weigh in, we go get some food. And
he's so nervous. He's getting nervous right now talking about it now.
I am. I'm so nervous. But I remember we got some food, and then we came back, and we're like waiting till it's our turn in the belt. But before that happens, I'm trying to warm up. I'm trying to get in the zone. But I went pee like 30 times probably that day before the fight. I was so nervous. And
so then after you eat, you come back. What is it like when you start warming up, or tell us about the fights and all that? Because I remember it was a bunch of you guys fighting.
Oh yeah, that's another thing is, so we warmed up. I had my bout. I went in the ring. I was super nervous. But then one thing I do remember clearly about that bout is like, there's a whole bunch of noise and everyone's like yelling like, like throw this, throw that, But all I remember is actually Coach David's voice. Because out of all the yelling, like all you hear is like, throw the over. Mm-hmm. And then, so that's like the first thing I do. And then after that, it was just kind of like, it was more an instinct. I felt like it was just after training repetitions.
Yep.
That's what
Exactly. That's what I try to explain to people is that especially the first fight.
Yeah.
But your first fight, there's so much going on. It's so fast. You're so like adrenaline is pumping that you don't have time to sit there really and think and strategize, because even if you try to think, it's too damn fast.
Yeah.
But everything goes off the habits you create in the gym. So whatever you did in the gym is exactly what you're naturally gonna do when you compete.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you said, is just go off instinct. This guy's so humble too. He's like, yeah, and I just went in there and fought. So what happened? Look at this guy.
So I remember it's funny because I used the same move that I used. So this guy that I fought, he was like, I don't know how tall he was, but he was like a whole head taller than me, maybe a little bit more. And I remember I was like, man, like I already know what I'm gonna do because there's someone in our gym that would spar a lot, and he was super tall.
Yeah.
Shout out Mr. Beard.
Yeah.
I always did the same move on him. So kind of like when I got in there and I sparred this tall dude, I felt like kind of comfortable with sparring like a really tall person. And
yeah, I always felt like it's easier to fight a taller guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you just come at him.
Yeah.
But so then what you do? Tell the people. Don't be humble about it.
I mean, after that, I just threw the over. He stumbled. I think the ref might have stopped it for a little bit. Did like an 8 count. I can't exactly remember. And when we were set to fight again, I hit him like with like a combo like da da da. I hit him with another overhand. He goes down, and then it was over. And then I turn around, and like everyone's cheering, everyone's jumping up and down. And this is when the gym like was super big too. So there was like a ton of people, and it was just a cool moment to see.
Good moment, yeah,
for sure.
It was cracking.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that day we had like a lot of people fighting too. So not only did we have a lot of people that went to go watch, but we also had a big team competing that day.
And a lot of them won too.
Yeah, and it was. I think it was like 5-1 or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was super good. I remember that's when I told you I have a lot of good memories with you. That's one of them right there.
That's probably my favorite one right there.
Mm-hmm. And this guy did that a lot of times. It wasn't a one-time thing. He did it again. Everybody was starting to get nervous sparring Jorrell. They're like, this guy's knocking everyone out. So then what got into your heart, or what happened? You know, you're doing good competing and all this, or what told you that it was time to not compete and focus on something else?
So what kind of switched my mindset was, you know, a lot of like, one thing is that I never focused on was girls, right? And so I was always like, yeah, I'm not gonna let girls into my life and distract me, or I'm not gonna let bad friends distract me.
Yeah.
But what it was actually business, like my desire to make more money, and cutting at the shop. When I was in the shop and I was competing at the same time, the biggest thing was that my busiest days were on Saturdays, and I'd be booked out a few Saturdays in advance. And the thing about boxing is that most of the fights are on Saturdays, but the thing is too is like it was so last minute that
it was unpredictable.
It's super unpredictable.
This guy, how many fights did you have fall out? Remember?
Yeah,
it was a whole bunch.
Before my first fight, it was 10 fights that fell out before I had my first fight. And then
super, and by the way, those that do not know or you're boxing right now, it's super unpredictable. Like you may think you're fighting, everything looks like a for sure, and then you get there and some crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
Where guys don't make weight, or guys don't show up, or guys, maybe even the doctors, they don't even pass a physical. So many things can go wrong. So I get Jorrell where he's coming from, where you're like, man, I'm taking this time off work, and then boom, I'm not fighting when I thought I was fighting, or things like that, correct?
Yeah. So, and the thing is that it impacts the business. So it's like, okay, I have 10 people scheduled for this Saturday. I cancel it, but then cancel it to fight just to show up to the fight to not even fight. And then it's like, at the time I was charging $35 and, 10 people at 35, that's $350. For me growing up the way I did, that was a lot of money for me. So it was hard to justify that every time that I had a fight going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And how did you like? So you knew that it was time to not. It was time to put the boxing away as far as competition and all that. What made you pick barbering? What made you pick that field? Like how did you make your mind when you were like, you know what, I'm gonna be a barber?
So actually, the reason that I started taking barbering seriously was for boxing, because at the time, before when I first started, the boxing gym membership was really expensive for me. So and I was in like, I had the mindset of like, I'd rather just find out ways to make more money than save. So I was like, okay, I need to make more money. And I started cutting hair. And when I worked at In-N-Out, there was everyone next to me who needed haircuts. Yeah. So I was like, I'm already doing this. I might as well just try to get people in here and scale and start charging them so I can make that little bit extra money to box and have money for traveling and competing and all that. And then it just kind of grew as time went on. So the reason I chose barbering was because, and what made up my mind was because of the flexibility of being able to, okay, now it was different when I wasn't licensed and when I was an apprentice, but now that I'm an official barber, and how I thought things were going to be out was that I get to pick my days off way more in advance, and I could work whatever schedule, which works really well for boxing because of how unpredictable it was. But
that's you saw a future in it because of that, your flexibility and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And when you decided to go full throttle at it, when did it become? So it sounds like at the beginning it was almost like a side hustle. Yeah. When did it go from a side hustle to like a career? When did you make that switch? Or what happened for you to make that switch?
I made the switch when I realized that I was when the numbers made way more sense than working at like a 9-to-5 job.
Okay. And when was that? 6 months in, a year in? Like, where were you?
I think I was about a year into cutting into my garage seriously. Mm-hmm. And then once I joined the apprenticeship for the barbershop and I started getting paid hourly over there to cut hair, it just made more sense. Because then I was like, okay, once I go on commission, when I start bringing in this money, it's going to be more than what I'm doing at In-N-Out.
Okay, and that's when you were like, you know what, I want to do this. Right?
Yeah.
And then when you're there and you're at the shop, what made you want to get your studio and kind of pursue this solo venture?
So the reason that I wanted to go into the studio was because I started operating my business a lot differently than a lot of other barbershops. Mm-hmm. And a lot of other barbershops, they go based off they base their prices off how they feel and like their walk-ins and stuff like that. But me, I know everyone's on the internet, so I really wanted to dial in. Especially the biggest thing was I found your gym off the internet.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, if Coach Jose's gym is like popping off the internet, when I went to Cayuga, there was just him and one other person in there, and when I went into Jose's, there was like a whole bunch of people in there. I already knew that I needed to focus on social media, and so the suite was the perfect route to kind of control the environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You saw what your vision was different than their vision. So it was nothing against what they were doing.
No, it's nothing against
it was
them.
like, man, I have a different vision.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's very important that when you're in a place, and I always talk about this with everybody, that it doesn't matter if you're the boss, you're the manager, you're the owner, or you're the fucking janitor in a place. It don't matter what you do. You want to make sure that your vision's aligned, meaning whatever you're doing in your career, your life, and what they're doing aligned. So maybe their vision is 6 months from now, I'm going to work here for 6 months, but then I'm going to save up money and dip. Within those 6 months, they're doing something that's benefiting your business, and it works out for the both of you, then good. But make sure you're communicating, make sure you guys are on the same page. And the biggest thing is communicating. That way you're not burning no bridges or causing no tension. That makes sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I think you handled it well with this, with seeing that you have a different vision than what they had.
Yeah.
I remember one time you came to me and you asked me at the gym, you were like, Coach, I'm thinking about doing this mentorship thing.
Yeah.
And you were asking me about it. How did that go? And what did it pay? Was it worth it to you now looking back? Or talk to me about the mentorship.
Okay, so yeah, I do remember that because I remember something about you saying that you had a lot of mentors too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, my business, the way that I run it is a lot on social media. And so I found this program and this mentorship online, and the whole focus wasn't about cutting hair. It was for barbers, but it wasn't about cutting hair. It was about how to grow on social media and increase your supply and demand. And I remember I seen it, I kind of checked it out a little bit, and then I figured out how much it was. And it was, I think, about $5,000 at the time. And I knew for me, that was a lot of money. So I was like, so then that's when I hit you up and I asked if it was worth it. And I remember your advice was that if someone has already been through what you've been through, why not see like what they did or something along those lines?
Yeah.
To fast track your success.
Exactly.
And so I bit the bullet. I joined the mentorship program, and it's taught me a lot on marketing, and through learning about marketing, I've learned a lot about business, scaling, buying back your time, all these different things, and brand building. So I think it was 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been like at the other shop where I was so at, you know.
Yeah, spinning your wheels.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mentoring is so huge. And I think and people see the money and they get stuck there. Like, I'm paying what, $5,000, and they're just stuck on the $5,000, and they're not looking at all the shortcuts they're getting. The way I look at mentoring is almost like a step-by-step map on how to get to your destination.
Yeah.
Would you rather just go in the wild forest and just figure shit out on your own than someone giving you a map with detailed instructions on what to do? Which one do you think is going to be more successful and beneficial? I guarantee you're going to get there faster with the map.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and that is what a mentorship is you're paying for someone's expertise that is either in what you do in the same industry or has done it.
Yeah.
And obviously this is something too with social media you got to be careful with now, is there's a lot of people that claim to be mentors or they're selling you crazy shit where, but really it's nothing. So that's where you got to do your due diligence and really look into who they are and what they do. When I pick out who I want to work with or my mentor, I look at who they are and what they're doing, and if it's something that I want to be doing, or I need something that they can unlock something I can't unlock or get to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it sounds like in your case, you did exactly that. You know, you were like, I want to get better with marketing and this. I don't need help with cutting hair. I need help with the marketing and this and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And you found somebody that did that talked about that had a proven track record.
Mm-hmm.
You went out there and you invested the money and it paid off.
Big time.
So yeah, I salute you for that. You know, I think that's a big reason why you were able to grow so fast. I mean, at the age that you're at and the time that, you know, I know barbers have been cutting hair forever,
mm-hmm.
and they're still doing the same thing because one, maybe they don't have the drive or the same entrepreneurship that you have. But a big one is probably they didn't have a mentor. Imagine being around people that are talking to you about these things and telling you how to get to these things. What do you think is going to eventually happen to you? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to do that. You're gonna want to accomplish that.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna see it more achievable. It's not gonna be so like crazy.
Exactly.
So are you still doing the mentorship? Is that something you're still doing, or is it over, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I'm still in the mentorship, and it's actually more like a community now. So it's a community around the world with barbers that charge over $100, that have shops that are making over 6 figures, and it's a community of like hungry barbers.
Yeah, so guys that have drive, right? That want more than just the average.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And how do you what made you want to come to me and ask me? Like, what made, you know what, let me ask Coach Jose, what do you think? What made you want to ask me?
Okay, so like I think what made me want to ask you was, number one, you had a super successful business. Number two, like all the advice that you've ever given me, I don't think there's been a piece of advice that hasn't been like well thought out or like real.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have like a 10 out of 10 track record of like advice, and it's always been right. So when I went to make that decision, I'm like, you're the only other person that I know who has a really successful business that I look up to, and wanna learn from. So out of everyone's advice, you know, because I hear other people's advice too. It's like, dude, that's a waste of money, you know, this and that. But I wanted to hear it from someone where I would want to be in, or like I would want to be in their place.
Exactly. That's good that you said that. The reason why I brought that up, and thank you for the compliment, by the way, and thank you for taking the time to really talk to people, because that's very important. I think that's something that holds up a lot of people from being successful. They don't talk or ask enough questions. But that goes back to, I always say, is like, you never take advice from a broke person, you know, especially when it comes to money. You know, you don't want to take advice on how to make money from a broke person. I mean, they're broke for a reason. And with what you said, as far as like, you know, I wanted to ask you, because you've been there and you're going to tell me something that's real. That's something that comes back to me, is that's exactly how I got to everything that I did. Is really was with my coaches and the people that I was around. I would ask questions similar to how you're asking, and just try to learn from their mistakes, or try to learn from what they did right. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, is because I think the key to that is really talk and ask questions to people, even if they're not in the same field. Like, you know, I'm not a barber and I wasn't barbering, but you asked me a question or my thoughts on what I would, if this was a right thing to do. That's what I would encourage people that are listening to, or people just in general, is just talk to the people that you in your network, and just ask how they got there. They're going to give you ideas, you know, what you take from them, or whatever they say, those may inspire action from you that you didn't know that's in there. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I think it's very important as far as the talking. We don't talk enough. People don't talk enough.
Yeah.
you shared this with me this week. You told me that you are building a a tier program for when you open up your shop that will have something where you are developing barbers. Tell me more about that. First, tell me why you want to do that, how the idea came about, and why this is important to you.
Okay, so how I came about that, or like what even made me think about that, was because of the two most recent experiences I had with Jose Morales Boxing Academy, where there's a tier system, there's a level system to grow and to level up. But also working at In-N-Out, they got their system down, and they're really efficient. And just seeing the way that both of those were able to create success, like I looked at the things that they had in common, and the biggest thing was having a system.
Yep.
And like building this system, I kind of put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like one thing they both had in common was that the higher level you get, the more responsibility you take on, but also ensuring that the people below, like they keep them on track.
Yeah.
What was the other question?
And why is this important to you? Like, why is this something you want to do?
So it's important to me because my biggest goal for my barbershop is to help grow other people.
Yeah.
Like you said, pour into other people's cups.
Yep. And I'll tell you this. I mean, I've got haircuts my whole life, so I've been around barbers and barbershops. And I've seen all sorts of barbers, and I've seen all sorts of barbershops. And not just even barbershops, but even business and people in general. I mean, I've been around all sorts of people also. And I can tell you this, people like to be in places where they're cared for. So regardless if they're customers or they are employees, if they are cared for, people like being there. This is what I mean by that. If you go to a place I'm going to give you both examples as a customer. Okay. If I go to a place as a customer and this place treats me with great hospitality, when they see me, they're excited to see me. Similar to how you talked about earlier about the different boxing gyms that you went to, how you said, oh, I went here and the vibe wasn't right. And then I went here and you were like, hey, da-da-da. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Treating somebody like you're excited to see them. You're happy that they're there. And then caring for them. Hey, what's going on with you? Hey, what's school like? What's your personal life like? What's your career like? Caring for them with conversations and just show that you're caring for them a lot more than just, oh, you're paying me this and that's it. You're not just a freaking dollar sign to me. You're you know, I care for you. That's on the customer side. Now, as an employee, imagine working somewhere where you know that your boss is not just your boss. Like he's not just there yelling at you or keeping you in check or just paying you, but he's, hey, it's your son's birthday here. I got him this gift. One of my bosses, and I'll never forget this. One of my bosses that I had, this was at the dealership. I remember when I was working at the dealership, my regional manager, so this guy wasn't even a guy I saw all the time. He was the regional manager. He came by and he gave me a gift for my son when my son turned 1. And I was like, what the fuck? To me, it was crazy. I was like, this fucking guy, first of all, how did he remember that it was my son's birthday? And then the fact that he came and bought something for my son, to me, it meant a lot. And it made me want to work harder and it made me want to be better because I was working for him, but to me, it was like, dude, this dude cares about me. So being at a place where people care about you makes you work harder for them. And when you, and I think that's the biggest inspiration and that's the best way to get the best out of people is when you show that you care for them more than just, I just need you to work. I just need you to cover this shift, right? To me, that's one of the biggest secrets and keys to success. But I also feel like imagine if the world had places where where we focused on taking care of our employees. It all triggers down to the home. Think of it. If when the guy or whoever's working goes to work and has a shitty job and they hate their job, when they go home, people, that's where substance come about. Maybe they're either drinking or drugs or there's something, they're finding something to kind of put a Band-Aid on their pain because they hate their job. And that's where now they have bad homes. Now they're beating on their freaking, arguing with their wives, husbands, or whatever. Now you're having toxic homes, and it all triggers down from a work environment. Now, the reason why I bring this up to you, and I kind of started fucking talking a lot right there, is because if you offer this and you create this to your staff when you have a barbershop, this is what's going to separate you from all these other barbershops that they can work at. Because to be honest, they can cut hair anywhere. But what's the difference between cutting hair at Jorrell's shop, or maybe getting my own studio, or maybe cutting at these 5 other shops besides the price? Even if maybe working at Jorrell's shop is the most expensive, but I work at Jorrell's shop, it's the most expensive one, but guess what? This fucking guy cares about me. This guy checks up on me monthly. We set weekly goals, monthly goals. He's helping me better me. He's setting goals for myself. That is a differential. This is why I'm willing to pay more, because I'm not going to get that on a studio by myself. I'm not going to get that working at 10 other barbershops. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
So I think that's fucking right on the money. It made me very happy when I saw that you're doing that, because I already know anyone that gets a chance to work at your shop and you're providing that, they're paying for that $5,000 that you paid a mentor for all your experience and that chair that they're renting out. They're getting all that for the price that you're going to rent out. And that's what people hopefully see when they come work at Jorrell's shop, is they see all that you're offering.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be a lot more than just a chair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Another thing is now that we're on the topic, I recently was with friends and I was at a trip talking with friends, and we're talking about, business, and we're talking about, how you can do this. And I have a friend, I had two friends. One, they're actually my wife's associates. Because like, what kind of girl, you're hanging out with girlfriends? Because they're females.
Yeah.
And one does eyelashes.
Okay.
And the other one cooks and is like a really, really fucking good cook, like amazing. And they're at the point where the girl that does eyelashes, she's at a studio. She kind of does similar to what you're doing, kind of has a studio, but she's at the point where she wants to venture off and actually have like a shop. And the other one that cooks, she's like, I would love to, she wants to make a decision. Do I want to just keep cooking on the side? Do I want to work somewhere? Do I want to open up my own thing? And I told them both the same advice. And I told them this. I said, you have the product. You do everything really good as far as like the cooking. Your food is fucking delicious. But now you need to create the system that's gonna like, if you have the product but you fucking can't get your product from point A to point B to C and D, the fuck you gonna do with that? It doesn't matter how good your product is if you can't freaking distribute it. That's where they're at. I was like, you need to create a business plan. What exactly are you gonna do? And how are you gonna differentiate yourself from all these other restaurants or all these other lash freaking places? And that's exactly what you're doing with this tier program. What other barbershop do you know offers a tier program?
I can't think of any.
None. You're gonna be the first one that I know of.
Yeah.
I don't know any of them that I know that do that. So that right there is one big differential, and that's what's gonna make you successful, is because you're gonna be poured into all these people. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's super dope, man. I'm so happy for you for that.
Thank you.
tell me what I know on your. I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah.
You are currently on these ventures of finding a location and all this. Talk to me about that. What have you learned so far? What are the pros and cons? What's been tough and what's been easier? Tell me about it.
So yeah, so far, like, the only thing I'm doing right now is gathering as much knowledge as I can, as well as like looking for potential locations. And what I've realized is that, can you look up a little bit more? Is that a lot of places actually don't want barbershops, or at least a lot of places that I wanted to go to, they already have barbershops. They already have barbershops established in the location. And there's definitely a lot that I'm learning about. What do you need to qualify for in order to even rent out a space? What type of paperwork do you need? You'll need like permits, licenses, a lot of that stuff. And I'm also learning, or I'm making new connections with like realtors, contractors, stuff like that. And I found a location and I'm gonna go check it out next Tuesday. I didn't want to post I actually made a post about it, but I actually didn't want to post the location exactly because I don't know. I felt like it was gonna be like bad luck or something.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I know exactly what you mean.
And I'm realizing that I think it's gonna be a lot more expensive than I like initially thought it was gonna be. For example, like for the flooring, I feel like the flooring is going to be a couple thousand more than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I'm also learning about how much space that I'll really need for a barbershop. How many chairs do I want it? How big do I want it to operate in the way that I could create a culture and it's not cluttered in there? There's a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. But the cool thing is you're going to learn as you go, man.
Yeah.
You know, just do your thing. So what do you see your barbershop being like in the future? What do you want your barbershop to like represent, stand for, and be known for?
So the biggest thing I want my barbershop to be known for is like high quality cuts and like a culture for the youth, like not like the younger crowd. Because going into a barbershop, a lot of times, a lot of my clients are a lot different. They're in terms of like style, fashion, they kind of have almost like the weird looking clothing, weird looking haircuts, and it's a lot different than what like the older folks are used to. So I want to create an environment that welcomes people to show like whatever the trend is going on, or just like a cool environment where no matter who you get cut by, you get a fresh cut when you leave.
Yeah. Do you have a name for your shop already?
I do.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it's actually
let me hear it.
Faded Exclusives.
Faded Exclusives.
Yes, it's actually on the Cape right now. So.
Oh shit! I don't even see it. All right.
So that's kind of like the goal right there.
So do you have any social media tips as far as like, you know, what to do as a barber, just to get more eyes on your content? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, 100%. So the biggest like general kind of social media tips that I have is that no matter really what type of brand that you're building, there's two different types of content that you want to focus on. And well, there's three, but the first two, like in the beginning. The first one is going to be growth. The second one is going to be conversion. The first one is growth. I mean, you could interchange, but growth and conversion are going to be the two main things, because you're either going to grow your account and have as many people see it as you can. But then I remember you telling me about having followers and supporters and why it's important. And this is where conversion comes in, is because when you get all those eyes on you, you want to create content that converts them into clients that buy things from you, that buy your services or whatever it is.
Yep. Very true. Very true. So what is something you did to do that, or what do you do? What's something you do?
So the biggest thing that I've worked on for the past few months to a year is consultations. I'm gonna lean you back a little.
Yeah.
It's consultations, and the reasons why that work is because consultations identify a problem, and then it also solves a solution. Because I ask the clients, what's your biggest issue? Where are you coming from? Why do you come get a haircut by me? And then they explain like, my last barber cut it too high, or this or that didn't give me what I want. When you create a consultation and you're able to pinpoint a problem and you're able to fix it,
You're able to serve them.
exactly.
Yeah. Very, very true. That's actually spot on. So you do this when they come, right? The consultation, you don't do that before?
Yeah, no, I do it when they're in the chair.
Yeah, and then you record it and post it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do something similar, just to get familiar with the person before they sign up, because I want to make sure it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you better serve them, because then you put them in the correct program, because it's not a one size fits all. So you know where okay, this person's gonna thrive better here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you understand your clients, the client's needs, and
Mm-hmm.
you're able to better understand them, you can serve them better, and you serve them better, you maintain them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's a really good tip. All right, I'm about to hit you with some random questions. First one, Jorrell, give me your favorite restaurant to eat out here.
Oh, that's a hard one. Favorite restaurant to eat?
All right, let's make it a little easier. If it's Friday night, you're gonna go out, nice little dinner with your girl. Where you going?
Let me think. Probably BJ's, to be honest.
BJ's.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah, they just got a lot more variety.
Nah,
There's a lot of places, because like there's places where it's like hole in the wall spots that I love going to,
Mhm.
but like on a Friday night, I want like
Yeah. So what do you get at BJ's?
BJ's is like whatever. Like there's a huge variety.
I know, but what do you get? What do you order? What's your go-to at BJ's?
I forgot. It's like a burger. I get like a burger, fries, Pizookie, sometimes a pizza.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock BJ's, because my son, my youngest, loves BJ's.
Yeah.
So we go there, and my wife likes BJ's too.
Yeah.
But I only went like BJ's because I was like, I was expecting something more. I'm playing. And by the way, speaking of your girl and all that, I think I told you this. Her dad wrote me one time. Ever tell you?
I don't remember. I mean, I seen the post on your stories, but
yeah. So, her dad, and as a coach, this to me is exactly what I try to hopefully pass down to you guys, and learn from my mistakes, and just be better and be a better, just be good.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes I get calls and text messages and emails from people in the gym, and sometimes it can be bad. And that doesn't happen often when I get stuff that are bad, but when I get messages like this, like, I don't get messages from girls' dads that often talking about their boyfriend. And I got one from Jorrell's girl's dad. He was like, hey, my daughter's boyfriend trains at your gym, and he's amazing, man. He's respectful. He's disciplined. Everything you talk about, you can see it in him. And that just made me happy, just knowing that he's out there, he's being a good boyfriend, a good man, just a good person. Not that he wasn't. It's just hearing it from somebody that is not in the gym just made me very proud. So I don't know if I ever told you that. So I wanted to tell you that publicly on video.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you're one of a kind, man. You inspire a lot of people. Another one you inspire a lot is Alex. Alex always tells me how much you inspire him. Every time he gets a cut by you, he pulls up to the gym on fucking fire. And all right, let me hit you with another random question. Tell us something about Jorrell not many people know. Something that not many people know about you.
Think real quick. Okay, so this is actually I was actually gonna make a video on this.
Oh shit! What is it?
And so it was about it's about my upbringing, and it's about like why I'm so hungry to succeed and make money. Is because growing up, I grew up, even though I grew up in like Roseville area, it's a really nice area, but I grew up a lot more I grew up less fortunate than others. And it was kind of embarrassing to the point where it's like, in school we had these canned food drives.
Yeah.
I remember one day the canned food drives would come to our house. That's like how much of a struggle it was. And I remember seeing like the people that I would sit next to in class that would donate, and they'd be like, oh man, like this and that about people who need this. And it was just very like it was really I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, you appreciate, but it makes you very like at the time. I guarantee you, at the time you were like embarrassed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I was in the same shoes, so I know exactly what you mean. I when I was younger, man, I had my first grade teacher give me hella clothes one time, and I was so embarrassed because she ran up to the bus when I was getting on the bus, and she ran up with a bag of clothes, and she's giving me the clothes.
Yeah.
And so now I'm on the bus with this big ass bag of clothes, right? And everyone's over there talking shit, like, "Oh, well, you don't fucking have clothes. Why should giving you clothes?"
Yeah.
Right. And I was embarrassed. And just I remember the school would have like back to school shopping, and we went shopping at Mervin's, and they gave us shit. I remember that, so I know what you mean, and it's embarrassing. But I know where you're coming from when you're like, I don't want my kids or anyone else to ever feel what I feel. Right?
Yeah.
And you know what it reminds me of when you say, oh, I lived in Granite Bay and I lived in a good area, but I didn't have money like the people in Granite Bay. I don't know if you ever watched Dave Chappelle stand up. He did one where he was like, my parents did well enough for us to not live in the hood,
mm-hmm.
but not good enough that we were still broke, that everybody else made fun of us. He's like,
Yeah.
So I was at a good school. He's like, but my friends was driving nice ass cars. I didn't have a car. He's like,
yeah.
So he's like, when I had a sleepover at my friend's house, he's like, the pantry was full. Ours, we didn't even have a pantry and shit like that. So
yeah.
That's what you reminded me of, is you were like, yeah, I lived in a good neighborhood, but I didn't have a lot of the things that these people in my neighborhood had. And I think that's what made you want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
I want to have this. And it made you work harder towards whatever it is that you want.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to this? Talk about before, we end it? Is there anything you want to say?
If you ask Coach for advice, listen to him, because most of the times that I've asked Coach for advice, it's always been right. And there's one thing that I always think of to this day, actually. And I remember you telling me when I was saying that I needed a break from boxing, you were telling me like, you got to close the chapter first. Otherwise, you're always going to think about it. And every single day since I stopped training in the Warrior program and just like doing the regular stuff, I've always thought about it. And I'm thinking about it every single day about still competing, still wanting, like, I still have time. I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always in the back of your mind. If you don't close that chapter, you're just always going to be thinking about it. And that's what Coach said, and that's what's been happening.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's cool that you brought that up. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. When I was younger, I would always try to talk myself. When I would try to talk to myself out of doing things or pursuing something, I noticed now I realize that person that was talking to myself was laziness. It was a guy that didn't want to do shit. It was that bitch. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I don't do this. So I was trying to find excuses on why I couldn't do whatever it is that I wanted to do. And at the end of the day, if I did stop, let's say I stopped boxing because I was busy, right, or whatever. But it deep down in my heart, boxing was in my heart.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. It don't matter how much time went by, I always came back to it. I was like, fuck, I need to do this. It was just, I was in that peace because I knew that I didn't close that chapter. Just like you said, I didn't close it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by closing the chapter is when you do something that you always wanted to do. For example, let's say some people, it may be just competing once because they've never competed. Some people, it may be going to nationals because they've never done that. Some people may be turning pro or whatever it is. I don't know, whatever that thing that was in your head, and actually coming to closure to it. Like, okay, I did it. I'm happy I did it. And now I can move on with it. That's what I mean by closing the chapter. Because, and then what's crazy is if you never do that, it's always going to eat away at you, no matter how old you are. It's just, it's like, fuck, I wish I would have. I didn't want to live in that. I wish I did have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's cool that you brought that up, man, because it's definitely something that's important. You know, I want to bring this up now that we're kind of on the topic. Why is it important to you to stay in the gym, even though you're not competing no more? Why was it important to you that you still wanted to be a part of the gym?
Okay, so there's actually a few reasons. The number one reason is because fitness, like when you don't have your mind right and you think from a place of like clouded judgment.
Yeah.
So when you don't work out, you have nothing to get all that energy out of. You don't have you have all these emotions in your head, but when you work out, it kind of relieves all that. So then you're able to make decisions more off a less clouded judgment, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the main reason. The second reason is like the community in the gym. A lot of times the people that go to that gym are like people that you want to learn from, like people that have experience. Like there's a lot of connections that have been made in that gym.
Yeah.
Realtors, like finance, whatever it is, like business owners. And I think I want to be, me personally, I want to be surrounded by winners. And I think anyone who goes to that gym is a winner, and they're fighting these battles every day. So just, even if it's just once a week, I think it's still important to go there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the last reason is because I just really do enjoy the sport of boxing, just for the love of the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I like how you said that as far as like the connections and things like that, because I think that's one of the underrated things that the gym offers. You know, the gym literally has all sorts of people from fucking police officers to fucking the criminals, you know what I'm saying? Like,
working alongside each other.
Yeah, like completely opposite side, but in the gym, it brings them all together and you can learn from everybody. And you create all these connections that really will just change your life or inspire you.
Yeah. And the community too is just so solid. Like, everyone's so uplifting.
And speaking of community, I think you inspired a lot of people, because anytime we talk about barbering or things like that, they bring you up, or, you know, oh, look what you're doing, you get brought up. So I think everything you've accomplished in what you're doing and what you're building and your videos and just how far you've come in such a short period of time is inspiring for others to see. So you are a part of that. You are what makes, you know, the gym, and you are that environment that makes it special. So you're creating it. So thank you for being a part of it. And just thank you for being who you are, Jorrell. You're solid. Your dad, your mom, hella solid, man. You have a beautiful family, man, and just everybody. I'm grateful that I got the chance to coach you and just to be around you. I always knew you would be successful. I mean, your work ethic, your discipline. I was like, there's no way this guy is not gonna do nothing in his life. I mean, look at this guy. He's fucking committed. He's disciplined. He's well mannered. You have all the ingredients to success. Now it sounds like you found the you know, the kitchen to put all these ingredients in. And now you're cooking up some dope shit. So I'm excited to see what you do, and just thank you so much for trusting in me to coach you and listening to my advice. And thank you for being on this podcast, and thank you for this haircut, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Man, make me fly.
I will say, out of all the sports, so I'm doing actually jiu-jitsu right now because I just love like the combat. And one thing I will say is, out of all the sports, I think boxing is one of the hardest to really get into because it takes a lot more discipline, a lot more commitment, and it takes out a lot more time, for sure.
Yeah, it asks a lot from you. It makes you like really give it 100%.
Yeah.
This is what I try to communicate. Like, if you learn to do that kind of discipline, and this is why I explain to everybody, you should compete once, just one time, just so you can see what happens when you give 100% to something. So that when you do that, and then you go out and venture out to life, and now you got used to giving 100% at something, you dominate. Like, it just makes life so much easier because your commitment and your discipline is so much higher. And then what you said about boxing being the toughest, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but I think it was ESPN. I have to look at this article, but I think it was ESPN did an article where they did a study where they went to the Olympic Training Center and they took 2 athletes from every sport, every Olympic sport, water polo, every sport. I'm talking about like fucking hockey, soccer, basketball, football, wrestling, everything, taekwondo. And they took 2 athletes from each sport and they looked at what they did physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, with everything they went through as far as nutrition, everything. And then they gave them a grade as far as how difficult it was. Like, is it how difficult the sport is? Is it kind of difficult to super difficult?
Yeah.
And guess what? Number 1,
boxing.
Boxing was the most difficult.
I don't doubt it.
Because it took so much and it asked for so much.
Yeah.
From your nutrition to your sleeping to your mental to your physical, and then on top of that, the work ethic and all that, everything you have to do. Actually, I got that shit in my mouth. I was talking.
Oh, my bad.
No, you good. Hopefully I didn't break my fast. Not playing.
You fasting right now?
Yeah, I fast every day.
Dang.
But that's cool, man.
Yeah, so I will say though, like, now that I do have my license as a barber and I'm creating my own schedule, it took me a little bit to kind of just like get used to it. But now I'm working Monday through Friday, so that means that I have my Saturdays open again. Yeah. Which opens up the ability to compete. So I'm doing a little side quests for some jiu-jitsu. Maybe a little bit of MMA. So
let me tell you this. It sounds like this guy wants to compete again.
Oh, like I said, I still got a chapter to close.
Oh, man. Hey, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And you know what? He definitely has to do this. Let me tell you why he has to do this. Because Jorrell, people don't know this. Jorrell, he is the founder. He's the one who started JNBA versus everybody.
Yeah, huh?
He's the one who started it. I didn't come up with that. This guy did.
It was actually my dad.
Yeah. It was your dad? All right. So we got to give Pops his credit. His dad is the one who came up with it.
Yeah.
Jorrell just had a shirt one day for your fight, right? And it said...
Fight in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it said JNBA versus everybody. That's what his shirt said. And ever since then, we all started doing it. We all copied him. And in May, I'm going to have an event at our gym. I trust you, Jorrell. I already know I look good. Come on, Jorrell, cut my hair. I already know it's official like a referee whistle, baby. And so put it in your calendar right now, Jorrell. I'm speaking into existence.
All right.
Memorial Day weekend. You're not going to party this weekend. Memorial Day weekend. I'll give you the exact date. May 23rd.
May 23rd.
Is a Saturday.
Oh, shit.
May 23rd, Saturday.
Okay.
at the gym, I'm having an event. It's going to be called JNBA versus everybody.
Oh, I got you now.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Damn.
And it's going to be all of our boxers, our entire team versus everybody. We're going to have everybody from all over come box us.
Okay.
And that event, I'm going to make it very, very different because my goal with this is making, if you pay attention when you go to boxing fights, and I'm pretty sure you've been to a boxing fight where, not when you're competing, but just to watch as a spectator. When you go to a boxing fight, people show up and they watch that one fighter, or they're going because of one fight. And as soon as that guy's fighting, they either leave or they don't show up until he fights, or they're just basically there just for that one fight. And now my goal with this event is to make it an actual show where people are enjoying the entire show, the entire event. Yeah. Almost like if you went to Vegas. When you go to Vegas and you watch a show, you're not just going to watch one person. You're enjoying the whole event. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it ring lights, fucking entertainment in between fights, a halftime show, an intro, and what they final verdict of what happened. Keeping score and just making it exciting for the people to get into it with prizes and things they can win. Just so people can leave, regardless of what happened during the fights, but people can leave and say, damn, I had a good time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed that. So that's my goal with it. Okay. And there's going to be, the first one is in May, and it's JNBA versus everybody. And Jorrell is going to be in it.
I got you now.
I'm speaking it into existence right now.
Man, I got you now. Right.
How much owe you, Jorrell?
Nah, don't worry about
shut
it.
up. I got to pay you, man. Shut up.
Top 10, not 10. Running up the score to know I'm locked in. You ain't on the team because you're not him. If you ain't us, then you're not them. Yeah, you know the vibes. Been in this thing winning rings for a while. Put it to the test, I could win it in a trial. Ain't no need to flex.